So with the last episode ending with league leaders South Shields being pretty dominant against us, to be honest, it was definitely not ideal to be drawn against them for the FA Trophy 5th round. A potential quarter-final awaits us, but this is definitely not going to be easy. Let's get into it. Oh, we're starting this episode off with a bit of very bad news. The Coventry City boss wasn't happy with Declan Miller playing outside of his recommended position, and yeah, he's been pulled back. So basically, our first choice right winger has been taken back because we weren't playing him as a striker, I think. Was it just I can't even remember the terms of the day. I normally try and get rid of recommended positions, so I might have to go back and check a previous episode when we signed him to see exactly what they expected. He did contact us once before about playing outside of his position, but even if you play them outside the position, as long as they're playing regular, this very rarely happens. So yeah, I was not ready for this. Maybe I need to try and find a new loan target, I suppose. Oh God. On a side note, Leo Gaksha is actually going to be leaving us, going to Skenderbo Korsha, I'm going to say that's pronounced, in Albania. He is Albanian himself, so it makes sense that home countries are interested in him, so we're going to accept that. 10,000. We have got a sell-on clause, like I said, but unlikely to come into effect. But yeah, Leo actually never really excelled for us. I mean, he played 25 times last season, 7 goals, 3 assists, 3 player of the match in that 6.88 rating. This season, 11 games, he's had no goal contributions yet and a 6.34. When he joined, I was really excited about him, and I really thought he would be a fantastic addition to the squad. And he just really has not shown up for us. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. But on the other hand, we have made a profit off him. So I can't complain too much because it means now I've got £288 in the wage budget. So I'll probably just put a little bit into the transfer budget to cover any potential signing fees and stuff, because that comes out of your transfer budget. But it does mean we've got enough to actually just sign a player, or maybe even 2, depending on who's available for us. I have been looking at some loan options for both striker and right winger, and I think I might have 1 or 2, but we'll have to see how those pan out before I expose myself on camera like that, because we've had a couple of rejections as well. So one thing that I have been noticing this season quite a lot is that obviously our average rating is considerably down compared to previous seasons. Fully makes sense. We're not dominating a league like we were in the last 4 seasons. But one pretty constant that I've been noticing is Tonadre. Even it's a 6.75, but he has pretty much, I'm not going to say he's never excelled, because he's got a few good performances under his belt. I'm not going to mouse over any of the recent one. Well, the most recent one, because that's a bit of a spoiler. But he's put a few 7+ ratings in at the very least. But he has been caught out in quite a few matches, and to be honest, quite often I've had to sort of play him as a centre-back and then had to put Piggott out on the right, and I'm not really comfortable doing that because I don't really think Piggott is good enough. So with that in mind, I have put in a loan bid for Phil Smith, going to be joining us, and he is generally pretty good. He's got a few skills that aren't fantastic, but with 17 aggression, 18 bravery, 13 tackling, I think he could be a very good defensive option for us. And if we compare him to Johan Tonadre, comparison-wise, he's definitely got him beat across the majority of skills. And if I look at them in the overview, basically Tonadre is a bit better in the air, and that is pretty much all that he's got going for him. And I mean, there's only 2 inches different between the two of them. Tonadre is 6'1" to Phil Smith's 5'11". So it's not like that he's all just down to, a massive height difference or anything. Tonadre is just generally very good in the air, with his 12 heading and his 12 jumping reach. But he's been found lacking in a few other areas. So while he's still definitely going to be involved quite a lot, I've decided to bring in Phil Smith as a sort of to replace him and push Tonadre into a backup. But, Tonadre, like I said, he'll still get plenty of games, and he's been subbing in at centre-back for us as well quite often. And I think Phil Smith could really help secure that position up for the rest of the season. And I have been struggling quite a bit to find a new winger or striker, because the thing is, with our current setup, yes, we have got Backwell and Adiema, who are pretty much out-and-out strikers, for the positions that we play at least. I know Backwell is sort of just as good in attacking midfield. I need to fix his role now, because I'll forget to do that otherwise. But, when we play Agbenone up front quite a lot, but he's also a perfectly suited winger. We've got Birchall, who can play both wings. So with Miller getting recalled, I've been looking at either a winger or a striker, because, like I said, we've got 3 strikers that none of which are firing super consistently, I would say. I mean, you've got Tommy Backwell, who, if I look at him for the season, he's had 10 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. Perfectly fine. but in the games where he hasn't scored, he's been very bad. And again, no spoilers for the games that have happened since, but those numbers have been significantly boosted considering what they were a game or two ago. Toby Adeyemo, 12 goals in 14 games. He's been by far our most reliable striking option off the top of my head, but he's still not been as reliable as I'd like. I might actually start playing him a bit in front of Backwell, actually, because I didn't realise just how much better he's been than him performance-wise. There's been multiple games where neither of them have shown up, but Adeyemo is definitely a better striking option than Tommy Backwell. And then you've got Ephraim Yeboah, who I still think, from his stats, should be a pretty amazing player. But 2 goals and 1 assist in 11 matches, it just ain't it. I mean, he has scored 5 goals in 6 games plus 2 sub-appearances in the Cup. So that's obviously, I can't ignore those figures. But we all know when Yeboah doesn't show up, he is absolutely useless. Like, it's not even like he has a bit of an off day. It's that he basically puts down his toys and goes back to play in the fucking changing rooms. It's just a little bit ridiculous. So with that in mind, I'm still looking for if I get a fantastic option in either, I will go for it. And if we are struggling a lot, I think we could cope with Birchall and Agbenone as our wing options. But we really don't have a lot of depth in those positions. So that's definitely a position that I'm really going to have to prioritise with Miller gone. I've probably had about 8 or 9 offers accepted by the parent club for a loan that's then been rejected by the player themselves. I'll try and find a couple of them. Just switch my options around. I've just sort of been scrolling through this list. I've been going for unsure just because I think they wouldn't show any if they didn't have any interest. And most of my loans I've gone from having either doubtful or unsure. They've been successful. Loan status listed. Actually, I think a couple of them might be on my shortlist. Yeah, Remy Haddock here was one that we've had a couple of loan bids offered for him. And I keep trying to sort of up his playing time and stuff just to get him to join. He would definitely be playing more as a winger, but he has also got pretty fantastic stats. I mean, his first touch at 7 isn't brilliant, but 13 dribbling, 12 finishing, 13 acceleration. Well, I mean, his physicals across the board, apart from jumping, are pretty outstanding. 17 flair, bit of a show off. But I definitely thought he could do a very good job for us. But I've had multiple attempts at signing him, and it just really doesn't look like it's happening. So I think we're going to have to look elsewhere. And there we go, Phil Smith has joined. He's been pretty well received by the club. He's got really good potential, though that's not going to be really relevant for us, is it? Put him as a defensive fullback. It doesn't really matter too much, to be honest. I don't think he's a lone player. I don't really care about his long-term development, but, I'm going to do my bit. And if I compare him now properly, like looking at the star ratings, and I know there's always people, star ratings don't mean shit, but they mean something at least. Just thought, when there's that much of a difference, it's pretty clear who the better player would be. So I'm pretty glad he has joined, and Helliwell is on his way out to join Kings Langley for the rest of the season. They're going to cover his wages, well, at least most of them. We're paying £20 a week when he's playing. So we're going to make a little parting comment to him. You're going to get far more first-team football. You're going to get far more first-team football there. Go and enjoy your playing time, my friend. And well, I hit continue once, and this has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. Birmingham City want to buy Tonadre. 1,400. I was really hoping that if someone did come in for him, they were going to pay a lot more than that. And he's going to become unsettled if he's not allowed to speak to them. I mean, the percentage of next sale is good because, Tonadre has got relatively good potential, although it's saying only Vanarama National League. He had very good potential compared to our squad, so I assume that was going to be more than good enough. But maybe that's not the case. I'm really unsure how I'm going to get out of this. So I'm going to start off by just talking to him and see what sort of reaction I get. I received a bid from Birmingham City, told you wish to discuss terms. Yep. Birmingham City are a bigger club, and this bid is a great opportunity for me to move up in the game. I don't deny that, but I would really like for you to not. Should we try and get him to stick around for one more season? Oh, God, this was a mistake. I've actually just put a bid in, a loan bid for a Birmingham City youth player, and they've rejected it instantly. And then I press continue once and get this bid come through. So I feel like I've put the target on my own back by trying to grab one of their players for cheap. And now they're just doing the exact same thing to me. I could maybe let him go for a fee and try and get a loan back clause added on it, or let him go at the end of the season. Maybe I don't really want more loans because I don't want to convert one of my full-time signings to a loan player. I'd rather let him go at the end of the season, to be honest. Isn't Sinatra the only one that's not in the social group for us as well? Let me just have a quick look at that. Oh no, this has all changed a bit since last time I looked at it. So okay. I'm really stuck here. Do I want 1,000? If I want to give 1,400 for him, can I raise that maybe and just agree that he can go as long as they match our valuation? Like, ideally, I wouldn't want to let him go for anything less than 10, but I was thinking, like, well, I thought he had much higher potential than he maybe does, because I was thinking, like, 100. But something tells me we're not going to be able to get that if their initial offer's only 1.4 thousand. I might say that I don't think you'll get enough football there, and I'm very rejecting it for your own good, but I don't want to piss him off, really. Okay. It's not great there. Pay rise tempt to stay. What is he on here? He's on 160. I wouldn't really want to raise him up much more than that, to be honest. I might say we'll let you go as long as we get a loan back deal. Or I'm going to say, okay, what's our valuation? He says 5,000. Can I up that at all? Can I try? He's never going to accept 40, but hopefully it'll make him raise his a bit. No. 20? No, still not gone up. I'm gonna try for 10. Okay. He's not happy with that. So now I'll get onto this screen. I think I'm gonna try and push 20k end of season and a sell-on fee. I think that's the only option I've got, really. Otherwise, it would be try and get him to have loan back. But ideally, like I said, I don't want to convert him to a loan player. Okay, he's not happy with it. They're not happy with that. Let's try and go, like, bring it down a bit. I'll go like 15 end of season, 50%. No. Okay, that's not the right way. 10k end of season, 50%. Oh, this is the problem. I mean, he understands, like, he values himself at 5,000. So I don't think he'll kick off about the fact that they've only offered 1.4. I really didn't want to go this low, but I'm going to try it. Okay, he's not happy with that either. I really wish that this didn't have to be like Birmingham City have stated the deal must be tied up at the end of the day. If I had a week on this, I'd probably try and offer him out. Let's just offer him out. See if we get any interest on him. Let's not be greedy. 40k and potentially next sale. Just because I do think if Birmingham City are coming for him, he is much too good for this level, and there's every chance that he's going to get a future fee, and I would like some of that money. So let's try and offer him out for that. We're going to settle this 5k end of season. This is what he thought he was valued at, non-negotiable. We'll send that back. That's still criminally low, to be honest. What Birmingham have turned down the opportunity to sign. 3 other clubs want him for free. I don't fucking think so. It's just a stupid idea. So, in a kind of cruel twist of fate, I suppose, after we turned down the transfer offer from Birmingham City on Tanadre, he's handed in a transfer request and said he wants to leave for free at the end of his contract, which would be the end of next season. So, I'm sort of got a bit of a dilemma. Like, should I keep him for a season and a half and basically have him as a backup while I try and get another first choice player in? Or do we just let him go at the end of this season if he's going to be unhappy for that most of that time anyway? And we'll just see how it goes. So I tried to offer him out just to see what we could get. We got 3 more completely bullshit offers. But actually, his preferred option is Patro Eisden, who have came in with exactly what we asked for. It's 10k up front, a 50% sell-on fee, and we get him back on loan for free until the end of the season. I'm not thrilled, but I think we're going to go with it. I really thought Tanadre was going to be my right back for a good few seasons, but me bringing in Paul Smith on loan has actually really messed us up, I think. Like, the second he joined, everything started going wrong as far as Tanadre is concerned. I've really enjoyed having him on the team, but I think this might be the moment that he leaves. Well, he doesn't leave us technically because he's going to be with us to the end of the season, but this will be the end of him being one of our signed players, which is a little bit heartbreaking. But I think it's just what I'm going to have to do. Keep everyone happy and bank a bit of money. And this just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So Jordan Piggott is also not happy. I think because we brought in Paul Smith and he's falling like the 3rd in the pecking order and he's wanting to leave. I did offer him out for 15,000, thinking no one's going to offer, but you might as well start high. He moaned about his asking price. We're now negotiating it. And he rates himself as higher than Snardre, which I really don't get it. But he wants 7k. We're never going to get 7k for him. So I think his valuation before was 500 to 2,500. If someone comes in with 7,000, they can have him. We've got Patronage to the end of the season. We're going to end up with absolutely no right back come the end of the season if that is the case. But it's not ideal, but we've got to do what we've got to do. And he was pretty much dead weight in the squad and picking up only £75 a week. But still, he's going to be off, I believe. We'll have to wait and see. And yet, no one actually put a bid in for Pigott. That was no real surprise. I did add him to transfer list just in case that spurs on any action, but I don't think it will do. He's not happy that he's being replaced. That's what we figured the problem would be. And the revolt is continuing, quite frankly, because Maguire is also looking to force a move. I mean, we've had a few pop-ups about Maguire not being happy. He thinks he should be playing a bit more. And, you know, he's only played 10 times this season, and only 5 of those have been starts. I feel like I've included him when I've needed to, when we need a more, a more defensive option and Hamblin isn't available. But we have sort of gone with Bates a lot more than Maguire in recent games. So I think Maguire might be off as well, but I think he's either on a contract. No, he's on a non-contract. So I don't know why he's trying to force a move, actually. That doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I'm sure if someone is interested in him, they'll come and take him off my hands, but we're not paying him other than an appearance fee. Is it? Yeah, £90 appearance fee and a £15 clean sheet bonus. So if they want him, they can have him. If not, he's sticking with me, lad. So yeah, it looks like Tanadre is going to be leaving us, going to Patro Eisden in the Belgian league. To be honest, I would have much preferred to sell him to, like a championship club. And if I'd realised I could only have got 10k for him, I probably would have looked to accept the offer from Birmingham City. Just because I feel like then you've got like a bit more of a sell-on potential. But, I've got the potential next day offer in there. If he ever really makes anything of himself, we should get a little kickback from it, but we're going to have to let him go. He is still with us until the end of the season, so it's no immediate impact. But it does mean that we're very likely going to need another right back to start off for next season. But, we've got him for another, 4 months or so, is it? How long are the seasons left? Well, actually, if I'm going to check the schedule, we might as well do the catch-up. We've got the South Shields game later today. Well, it's in 3 days' time. But before we get to that, we'll go through a little catch-up of the 3 games we've played since you were last here. And actually, they all went relatively comfortably. Well, not comfortably, but there were 3 wins at the very least. And yes, it is just under 3 months left of the season. But anyway, first up, we had Banbury. It's a nice 3-0 victory here. Tommy Backwell with all 3 goals. He got a hat-trick. I'll be honest, he didn't play that well, I don't feel like. There was quite a few times that I saw him and he just wasn't really contributing to the play at all. But he had 3 good chances and he took them. An 8.8 rating with a hat-trick. He's kind of low, which kind of proves the point, I suppose. Let's quickly watch these. Started off with Gofford getting the ball back to Archer. A nice little ball over to Tanadre, who puts it in for Backwell to tap in from about 3 yards out. Before a long ball over from Morehouse got picked up by Birchall, who basically just mirrored the goal from the other side, got it into Backwell to finish. And then one that he did do a little bit more on, Morehouse gets the ball to Agbenon. A nice little pass from Agbenon here, beats the back line. And Backwell manages to pop it in the far side. Nice little hat-trick from him. He's very much sort of turning out to be a Yeboah sort of player where he just doesn't show up for game after game after game and then absolutely destroys a team with his finishing. But yeah, overall, absolutely fantastic result for us. And Backwell kept up the scoring run with the game against Southport. 2-1 victory here. He got both goals. We were relatively comfortable. They didn't really create much other than the goal they scored from, which was from a free kick. Not direct, I don't think. But yeah, so Backwell started off this move in the 25th minute. Gives it to Waldo. Waldo just slots him through very nicely and blasts it in past the keeper at the near post. Before in the 38th minute, Hamami free kick gets like a looping header from Nixon and it just goes straight over Jackson. A little bit unfortunate. Before a Morehouse free kick, no one bothers with it at all and Backwell slots it in at the back post. So a relatively comfortable game. Yeah, they look at the XG. They really did nothing the entire game other than that free kick. It was a very one-sided set of highlights and overall I was thrilled with the win despite a quite rotated side in some spots. And then in the final game of this little run, a 1-0 victory over Alfreton Town. You're never going to guess who the scorer was again. Well, you probably quite obviously the scorer was again, to be honest. Backwell got another one, his 6th goal in 3 matches, 3rd consecutive game he's scored in. And this one definitely wasn't as comfortable as the previous 2. They were by far the better team the whole time, but then a long Portsmouth free kick. Agbenon gets it to Backwell, who just slots it in the bottom corner. That was the only goal of the game. We did sort of nick that one, yeah. 1.33 XG to 0.45. We didn't do a whole lot, but I was thrilled to walk away with the 3 points. And that has actually got us up to 2nd in the National League North. We're 5 points behind South Shields, who we're going to be playing in the Cup later today. It really annoys me looking at this screen and seeing Declan Miller as our top assister. Absolutely heartbreaking that they took him back, but hopefully it doesn't have massive long-term consequences for us. We still seem to be doing all right without him, even if we have lost one of our best players, I would say. As far as transfers go, I have still been looking at other players. We've got Callum West loan there going out potentially, just in case you're wondering. But there's not a whole lot available, to be honest. I mean, we have got a decent amount of wage budget free with the couple of players that have left us. And I've been searching, well, not so much on this search because this is me trying to replace Tanadra, but we have been looking at pretty much wingers, strikers, and right backs at the moment, and potentially left backs, just because, you know, we've got Hamblin there who's doing a very good job for us. But apart from that, we are quite light. I mean, I don't really trust Bates or Maguire to do the job sort of on a regular basis for us. So I am looking for a potential replacement for one of those. This is sort of how we're looking at lining up at the moment for the next match, but I have given players a bit of a rest because there's a few that are absolutely knackered. So in the 3 days before the game, we're going to try and get them back in a slightly better shape so they're ready to give it their all against South Shields. So yeah, I'm going to skip forward through the next 3 days and we'll be there for the match. And a quick fast forward through time later, and it is game day. So we've already seen how we're lining up, but it's Jackson in goal, Hamblin, Shepherd, Mitchell and Smith across the back. Wadham defensive mid, Archer and Morehouse centre mid, Bircher on the left, Agbenon on the right and Backwell up front. We're giving Backwell the game just because on his recent form he has been very good, although you can see from the past 5 games there has been a considerable drop off each game, and he only finished the last game with a 7.2, which is still a good score, and if he come up with a 7.2 today I'd be absolutely delighted, but I am a little bit worried about that, and I'm probably expecting for Adiemo to make an appearance at some point. I've just been weighing up, should I go with Adiemo or Yeboah? I'm really not sure if there's a correct option with that because neither of them show up on a regular basis, so we're really struggling to recapture that like Starman, Cameron Moncrief energy that we had in the first couple of seasons, I feel like, although you know it's hard to get someone to score that many goals in that many games, but either way, let's just jump into it. So as far as our team talk goes, yeah, the media give you a lot of credit. Let's just try and get people a bit more amped up. You know what? Backwell, I'm going to give you a little nice message, although you completely ignored me. South Shields are lining up in a 4-2-3-1. Is this the same as they played us last episode? I actually don't remember. But either way, we're still in our 4-3-3, as you'd expect. Let's get into it. We've got 1,862 players here today. That's not the right screen to be on for this at all. And okay, we're starting off with a long ball up from Mitchell. And Agbenon can't win the header, and now Jones and Lowe look to get it out. Okay, Edwards with a nice ball over to Moyo, but Agbenon does cut him off and gives it away straight away. They also do the same. Backwell, you need to do something with that. Cheeky little backheel pass there from the midfield. And we've got Hunter looking to go down the right. Needs someone to take him out, really. Hamblin tries, but just makes it easier for him. Hunter running inside. The ball bounced off Talon Shepherd and then bounces off our post out for a corner. That was terrifying. So we've got Hannans with a corner kick, not a goal kick. Agbenon does he win the header? I couldn't really tell. They've just instantly got another corner. Exactly the same play again. And it's going sort of the exact way, but without the clearance. Hunter's lining up for... Oh, I thought he was going to shoot then. They're backing off a lot more than I'd expect him to here, but I'm assuming this is going to end in something for them. Lots of short passing. Something that our team are not really that capable of doing. It's a little depressing. They're just sort of showing off. It's like playing against Man City, isn't it? Edwards with a nice ball over, but Hamblin just managed to break it off. Cut it out even, not break it off. Long ball up to bounce off the back of Backwell's head. Now Agbenon's through. And the keeper saves. I thought we'd managed to sneak a counter-attack goal head. That long goal kick that just bounced off the back of Tommy Backwell's head. It's hilarious. But either way, focus on the moment. Morehouse corner to Backwell at the back post. He didn't do very well though. And the highlight has ended. Now we've got Barrett with a long ball over. Oh no, Jones is through on there. I thought Tommy Jackson was going to be able to cut him out then. But no one seemed in any rush to go for the ball, and by the time Jackson had stopped delaying, he just couldn't get there in time. That is annoying. Nice little dinked ball over there from Edwards. And he finishes it off without an issue. We're about halfway through the first half. I mean, we have had a chance, which is more than I sort of expected. I'm hoping we could have another one, at least one more before half time. Let's give them a little demand more just to try and get a performance out of them. Birchall did not like that at all, and it looks like it hasn't worked in the slightest. Okay. Alan Shepherd's been making some crucial interceptions for us, yes. He's been very good. I know everyone here has more to offer. Okay, didn't really do a whole lot there. Try and get everyone off. That was such a good team talk. Everyone loves me. Motivation across the board. I'm not going to make any subs yet, but Backwell on a 6.2 is worrying me. Mitchell's on a 6.1, but I also don't feel like he's been too bad. Although I suppose it would probably have been him that didn't go for the ball that ended up being their goal. But either way, he's got a free kick here. Smith gets a nice ball up, but to absolutely nobody. Agbenone picks up the loose ball. Morehouse, Smith. Long ball over. His Backwell's not going to get on the end of it. And I think with that, I'm just going to take him off and bring Adiemo on. Do I want to make any more changes? I mean, Morehouse is in danger of being booked, but he's also been by far our best player. So I don't really want to kick him off just yet. We might end up bringing Gofford on for Mitchell, because Mitchell's only on a 6.0, but I'm going to leave him for a little bit longer and see if that improves. I'll drop some encouragement out to try and cheer some of the players up. But we've got another chance here. Agbenone running down the wing. He should be, I was going to say he should roll faster than the defender, but apparently not the case. A long ball over. Mitchell intercepts. Morehouse gets it out to Birchall. Back to Agbenone, who definitely, I feel like he had a chance to get that through then, and instead he puts on one of the worst shots I've seen so far on the save. Absolutely no power, no direction, no good. We might need to move our instructions around a bit more. I'm going to switch to positive. What are we going to do here? Maybe slightly shorter passing. We do sort of need to go for it though, which is kind of concerning. Distribute the ball straight over the opposition defence, maybe. Okay, we've got a throw in. Hamblin on the left hand side. Now we've got Wadham coming forward. Back to Shepherd. Need to forward momentum is key here, and Adiemo couldn't go for that because he was 7 miles offside. Not what you want to see at all. Long goal kick from Barrett. Swept towards Mitchell. No, Smith picks it up. Looking to send it back. He is. Adiemo, you've got to be a bit quicker to get on the end of that. That's annoying. Another long ball up, and they get a flick on, but there's nobody there. What one of you, please? Shepherd takes the ball off Jackson, and the ball ends up getting given away, and it's a goal. Oh, no. As soon as Shepherd took the ball off Jackson, I feel like this highlight's not going to end well. Because that's like a bit of miscommunication between the defence and the goalie. And yeah, I mean, I was correct, if that's any consolation, but right now it's not really. I'm going to put Mitchell off for Gofford. I am actually going to take Morehouse off for Tessier. I'm going to move Archer up. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah, he can be a very good, like, supported advanced playmaker. You can still be deep line player. Actually, I'll switch Archer to an attacking midfielder or a supporting attacking midfielder. You are still going to be a defensive ball winning midfielder there. Deep line playmaker go up to support, actually. A slightly more attacking formation. Doesn't really matter if we lose 3-0 compared to 2-0. It's a cup game, and we are against the best team in our division, so it's not entirely unexpected, but okay, Paul Smith gets the interception. Jackson with a long ball up towards Birchall. Brought down beautifully by Hunter, and Hewlett and Bailey are going to look to get this away. I mean, I don't feel like we're looking terrible on the ball. We're just rushing things a little bit too much. But when we're playing more direct, you can't really not. You can't. I don't feel like you can lower the tempo too much because a lot of it is, you know, balls in behind, and if players just aren't. If the defenders have got time to think about it, then they're just going to. Oh, for God's sake! Okay, good save from Jackson there, and Moyo manages to get a corner. We're just sort of seeing the clock out here because I don't see any possible way that we're coming back into this. Much more direct, much higher tempo. I don't even know what to go with. Whipped crosses, maybe. Like, unless we've got a standout, you know, like a particularly tall goalkeeper, striker, or a very, very fast one, I don't really worry too much about having mixed crosses on. We're just pinballing around our net, and they're getting yet another corner. This is a relatively easy passage to the quarterfinals for South Shields, it feels like. It's a little unfortunate. Now Hannant's looking to cross this in. Big ball in and Birchwood gets it away. And, oh, we're not going to make anything of it. Oh, yeah, there's a few seconds left. Let's just let this run out. I'm not going to tweak anything too much. Adiemo gets a chance, but the defender gets a foot in. It was a real chance, but it never really reached the striker. So I feel like the commentators have been a little bit harsh there. And that is full time. And we are out of the FA Trophy. I mean, we had a brilliant chance early on, but once they scored, I don't feel like we did a whole lot the entire game, to be honest. Once they had that little bit of confidence, we were just screwed. No one showed up massively. But also, like I said, they're a better team than us. I can't really be too mad about anything. I apologise if you can hear a moaning cat in the background. One of the neighbours. Can he control their animals? So yeah, it looks like our FA Trophy run has now also come to an end. It looks like for the last 3 months of the season or so, we're going to be focused fully on the league. We have got 11 games to go, and I mean, we're chasing down South Shields, but I think that's a pretty foregone conclusion that they're going to finish top with how they're performing. They do seem just a step above most of the teams in the league. But if we can secure a second or third place spot, we're going to be looking relatively good for the playoffs. And we just have to play it game by game. I know I did say in the last episode that this was going to be a double header today, but with all the transfer activity going on, this has obviously already ran reasonably long for an episode. I don't want to add another game on top, which would potentially, probably wouldn't be one of the next few games. I'd have to play forward, I don't know, probably like King's Lynn Town would be the next game I was looking at. So I think we might go forward to that for the next episode. You've got Grantham in 9th, Hereford in 15th, Brackley in 17th, Guiseley in 23rd, Telford in 13th, Nuneaton 24th, Spennymoor 14th, and then King's Lynn Town, who are 2nd. So we're going to go forward to that game, and then we've got a couple of big games coming up. We've got Chester in 4th, Stafford in 7th, Boston in 9th. Who else have we got before the end of the season? No, that's all our top half games right there in a little clump. So we're going to go forward to at least the King's Lynn game. We might end up doing a double header with maybe Chester, depending on how things are looking. If Chester are still chasing us as tightly as they are currently, they're only a point behind us. King's Lynn obviously won a game in hand while we were playing that game against South Shield, just so they've moved back up into 2nd. But yeah, this could be a very tense end to the season. So let's go on this journey together, I suppose. So I am going to leave that there. So thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or a comment down below. It really does help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. We'll be back in around a month and a half to play King's Lynn. So subscribe to make sure you don't miss it, and I'll see you next time.